Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me right now. Too many people are sitting around, waiting for life to hand them something, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for luck to show up like some magic genie and give them the life of their dreams. But let me tell you something straight from the heart. Luck is not coming. No four-leaf clover, no shooting star, no lottery tick. It is going to build your future. If you want a breakthrough, if you want a life of abundance, if you want to rise from the ashes and claim your destiny, you must stop believing in luck and start believing in yourself. Luck is an excuse. It's the language of people who give away their power. They look at someone who's successful and say, "Oh, he got lucky." They see someone living with passion, someone building wealth, someone changing the world, and they whisper, "She was just in the right place at the right time." That is the mindset of defeat. That is the voice of fear disguising itself as reason. Because when you say someone else is lucky, what you're really saying is that you don't believe in your own ability to create greatness. But let's get real. Success doesn't happen by accident. Every champion you admire, every leader who inspires you, every innovator who shifts the course of history, they didn't wait for luck. They made decisions. They took risks. They worked when no one was watching. They sacrificed when others were comfortable. They believed in themselves when no one else did. That's not luck. That's ownership. That's power. That's the fire inside a human being that refuses to quit. You have that same fire. Don't you dare think for a second that you don't. Inside of you right now is the ability to change everything, to rewrite the story, to create a future that people will look at and say, "Wow, how did they do that?" And when they ask, you won't say, "I got lucky." You'll say, "I decided, I committed, I pushed, I bled, I kept going when it hurt, I believed in me." Life is not a casino, it's a battlefield, and on this battlefield, luck is worthless. Skill matters. Hunger matters, vision matters, resilience matters, belief matters. You've got to believe in yourself so strongly that nothing outside of you can shake it. Because if you don't believe in you, why should anyone else? Listen, there will be times when you fail. There will be times when doors slam shut. There will be times when the world says no. And that's when most people retreat, sit back and say, "Maybe I just wasn't lucky." No, that is when you lean in harder. That is when you dig deeper. That is when you unleash the strength you didn't even know you had. That is when you prove to yourself and to the world that your belief in you is stronger than any obstacle. Stop waiting, stop hoping, stop looking for luck. Start creating, start building, start moving with purpose, because the truth is this: the moment you fully believe in yourself, the world begins to bend in your direction. Not because of luck, but because you are living with intention, with energy, with clarity, and with relentless drive. So today, right here, right now, make a decision. No more luck. No more excuses. No more waiting. From this moment forward, you believe in yourself, you back yourself, you fight for yourself, and you create a life that people will never be able to dismiss as lucky. They'll know it was earned. They'll know it was forged. They'll know it was built by the unstoppable belief you had in the power of you. Luck is an excuse. Belief in yourself is power. And when you think about it deeply, you begin to realize that most people use luck as a crutch to explain away either their failures or the success of others. They point to the man who built a thriving business and say he was lucky to find the right investors. The athlete who rose to greatness and say she was lucky to be discovered. The leader who inspired a generation and say he was lucky to be in the right place at the right time. But those words are illusions, distractions that keep us from facing the truth that real success, real transformation, real breakthroughs come not from chance, but from an inner belief that fuels relentless action. When you believe in luck, you surrender control. You hand over the steering wheel of your life to something you cannot touch, cannot predict, cannot master. But when you believe in yourself, you take that wheel back. You say to the universe that your destiny is yours to shape. And suddenly the horizon opens wide, not because circumstances changed, but because you changed the way you engage with them. Belief in yourself is not some empty mantra repeated in the mirror. It is the force that drives you to wake up when the alarm rings, even when your body screams for more sleep. It is the voice inside that whispers, "Keep going," when every external signal tells you to stop. It is the foundation you build when the world doubts you, mocks you, dismisses you. Every great achievement, every story of triumph, every person who has left a mark on history began with that invisible yet unshakable force, the power of self-belief. Without it, talent lies dormant, ideas remain unspoken, opportunities pass by unnoticed, because it is belief that transforms raw potential into unstoppable momentum. When you strip away the myth of luck, what you are left with is responsibility. That word may feel heavy because it places the burden on your shoulders, but that burden is also freedom. Responsibility means you are not waiting for the roll of the dice, not crossing your fingers for fortune, not blaming fate when life gets hard. Responsibility means you own your story, you write your chapters, you decide how the plot twists. That ownership is where true power lies. People who rely on luck remain passive, always waiting, always hoping, always saying someday. People who rely on belief become active, always moving, always creating, always turning someday into today. Belief is tested not when things are easy, but when you are faced with failure, with rejection, with pain. That is when the ones who lean on luck give up, say it wasn't meant to be, and retreat back into comfort. But the ones who lean on belief dig in deeper. They use rejection as redirection. They use pain as fuel. They use failure as feedback. Belief transforms the sting of defeat into the spark of determination. Without belief, every no feels final. With belief, every no becomes a step closer to yes. Think about how many dreams have died because people convinced themselves they were unlucky. They said they didn't meet the right person, didn't get the right opportunity, didn't catch the right break. But the truth is they stopped believing, and when belief dies, action dies, and when action dies, the dream withers. On the other hand, think about the people who had every reason to quit, who were told 1,000 times they couldn't, who had doors slammed in their faces, who were laughed at, doubted, and underestimated. The difference was not that luck suddenly smiled at them. The difference was that they refused to stop believing. That belief made them relentless, and that relentlessness is what others mistakenly call luck. Belief in yourself is contagious. When you carry it in your body, in your voice, in your eyes, others feel it. They may not even understand why, but they are drawn to it. Opportunities begin to open, not because luck dropped them into your lap, but because your belief radiates certainty, and people trust certainty. Investors trust it, teammates trust it, followers trust it, leaders trust it. The moment you fully believe in yourself, you give permission for others to believe in you too. And that is the invisible magnet that begins to pull circumstances, people, and resources into your orbit. But it all begins with the internal decision that you will not wait for luck. You will not rely on chance. You will believe in yourself no matter what the outside world says. The energy of belief cannot be faked. You cannot trick yourself into it with shallow words. It must be built, forged, tested. You build it every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you push through discomfort, every time you rise after a fall. Each small victory strengthens the muscle of belief, and the stronger that muscle gets, the more unstoppable you become. This is why people who rely on luck remain fragile. When life doesn't go their way, their entire foundation collapses because it was never real. But those who rely on belief are unshakable because they know setbacks are temporary and self-belief is permanent. If you want to understand power, stop asking who is lucky and start asking who believes. Belief is the seed that grows into resilience, the fuel that sustains action, the shield that protects you from doubt, the weapon that slays fear. Belief is not a maybe, it is not a someday, it is a here, a now, a decision, a force. And when you embrace it fully, when you let it live in your bones, when you refuse to hand your future to luck, you discover a power that has always been inside you, waiting to be unleashed. Success is built through decisions, discipline, and persistence, not chance, and the sooner you understand this truth, the sooner you free yourself from the illusion that life is a lottery where the winners are chosen randomly. The ones you admire, the ones who have reached heights that seem unreachable, did not wake up one day and stumble into greatness by accident. They made decisions when others hesitated, they showed discipline when others were distracted, and they persisted when others quit. Those three forces, combined with an unshakable inner drive, are the real architects of success. Decisions are the starting point. Every single choice you make, from the smallest to the largest, pushes you closer to or further from your vision. People think big breakthroughs come from one dramatic leap, but in reality, they are the result of thousands of small decisions compounded over time. The decision to wake up early instead of hitting snooze, the decision to study instead of scrolling, the decision to invest instead of spend, the decision to face fear instead of run from it. Success is not a mystery when you track it back to the choices made consistently. Each decision is like a brick, and with enough of them, you build the foundation of your future. Discipline is what holds those decisions together when the excitement fades. Anyone can decide to start a new habit, launch a project, or chase a goal, but without discipline, the fire dies quickly. Discipline is the invisible bridge between where you are and where you want to go. It's doing what needs to be done, not just when you feel like it, but especially when you don't. It's getting up and putting in the work when your emotions beg you to quit. Discipline means you honor your commitments, not because it's convenient, but because you said you would. It is the difference between dabblers and masters, between dreamers and doers. People who lack discipline blame luck for their failures. People with discipline create results that others call luck. Discipline is the backbone of every success story, and it's the very thing that transforms decisions into consistent action. Persistence is the force that carries you through storms, the quality that separates those who finish from those who fade. Everyone faces rejection, failure, obstacles, and setbacks. The question is not if but when. The people who rely on luck see a closed door and stop knocking. They see failure and retreat into excuses. But those who understand persistence keep moving forward, even if progress is slow, even if it feels like the world is against them. They adapt, they learn, they rise, and they keep going. Persistence is not glamorous, it is not loud. It is the quiet determination that whispers, "Try again." When your ego has been bruised, when your body is tired, when your vision feels distant. It is persistence that transforms time into an ally instead of an enemy. Over years, persistence compounds like interest, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. When you combine decisions, discipline, and persistence, you create a formula that makes luck irrelevant. Because you are no longer waiting for circumstances to align, you are creating alignment through action. Every decision sharpens your direction, every act of discipline strengthens your resilience, every moment of persistence adds weight to your momentum. This is how businesses are built, how champions are forged, how leaders emerge. Not because the universe handed them fortune, but because they decided, they disciplined, they persisted. People love to look at someone successful and reduce it to one moment. The day they were discovered, the day they launched a product, the day they made a breakthrough. But what they don't see are the countless decisions that came before that moment, the years of discipline that no one clapped for, the persistence through failures that almost broke them. The world calls it luck because it's easier to digest than the truth. Because if it's luck, then you don't have to take responsibility for your own choices, your own habits, your own level of persistence. But the truth is that success is earned brick by brick, choice by choice, day after day. Decisions test your clarity. Discipline tests your consistency. Persistence tests your resilience. Together, they test your character. And success is not so much about what you achieve as it is about who you become in the process. The person who can decide with certainty, act with discipline, and persist through pain is unstoppable, regardless of the field, the goal, or the obstacles. That kind of person is not waiting for luck, because they know they are creating their own destiny with every action they take. Think of it like this. Decisions ignite the spark, discipline fuels the flame, and persistence keeps the fire alive through the storm. Without decisions, there is no start. Without discipline, there is no progress. Without persistence, there is no finish. This is why people who rely on luck often start and stop, drift and stall, because they are waiting for conditions instead of building them. But those who lean on decisions, discipline, and persistence move steadily forward no matter what, and eventually the world cannot deny them. It doesn't matter where you begin. It doesn't matter if the odds seem stacked against you. It doesn't matter if the world underestimates you. The truth is that every person who has achieved something great has done so through the same timeless formula. Make the decision, hold the discipline, live with persistence. These are not glamorous words, they are not easy words, but they are powerful words, and they are within your control. Chance is not, luck is not, circumstance is not, but your decisions, your discipline, your persistence, those belong to you. Those are the weapons in your hands. Those are the tools that will carve the future you desire. So when others sit back waiting for fortune, you stand up and decide. When others give in to distraction, you stay disciplined. When others quit at the first sign of difficulty, you persist. And in time, when your results shine, when your life transforms, when people say you were lucky, you will know the truth. You will know it wasn't luck at all. It was the power of decisions, the strength of discipline, and the relentless force of persistence that built everything you have become. Every obstacle is proof that belief matters more than luck, because when you look at the lives of people who have risen from nothing, who have faced pain, rejection, failure, and still carved out a path toward success, you see clearly that it was not luck that carried them forward. It was the inner belief that they could overcome. Obstacles are not signs that you are unlucky. They are tests that reveal how much you trust yourself, how much you are willing to fight, how deeply you are committed to the vision you hold inside. When you come face to face with an obstacle, you are also coming face to face with the voice inside your head. That voice will either tell you this is the end, or it will tell you to keep going, and the difference between those who stop and those who keep moving is not fortune, it is belief. Belief gives meaning to obstacles. For someone who believes in themselves, an obstacle is not a dead end. It is a stepping stone, a challenge that sharpens their resilience, a fire that forges their strength. For someone who doesn't believe, the same obstacle feels like a mountain too high to climb, a wall too thick to break, a signal that maybe luck is not on their side, but it's never about luck. The same challenge can destroy one person and elevate another, and the difference is what they believe about themselves when things get hard. If you see every obstacle as a curse, you will shrink back and give up. If you see every obstacle as proof of your strength, you will expand, grow, and rise above it. Belief transforms obstacles into teachers. The rejection letter is not a sign you are doomed. It is a lesson about perseverance. The failed attempt is not evidence that you are unlucky. It is feedback about what needs to be refined. The closed door is not the universe working against you. It is an invitation to knock harder or to build your own door. People who believe in themselves see obstacles as part of the process, not interruptions of the process. They understand that the path to greatness was never meant to be smooth, that the very resistance they face is what strengthens them, and that without obstacles their victories would mean nothing. Luck cannot prepare you for life's storms. Belief can. When you are knocked down, luck will not pick you up, but belief will. When the world doubts you, luck will not silence the critics, but belief will keep you moving despite them. When failure stares you in the face, luck will not rebuild your confidence, but belief will remind you of your power. This is why every obstacle is proof that belief is the real currency of success. Obstacles strip away the illusion of luck and force you to rely on what you truly have inside. If all you had was luck, you would crumble. If what you have is belief, you will endure. The greatest breakthroughs often come right after the toughest obstacles, but most people never get there because they quit too soon. They convince themselves they were unlucky, that the timing wasn't right, that someone else had it easier. But those who keep believing, who keep pushing, who keep finding a way through, discover that the obstacle was not there to destroy them, but to shape them into the kind of person who could handle the next level. Without belief, an obstacle is an ending. With belief, an obstacle is a beginning. When you look back at your own life, you will see that your most defining moments came not when things were easy, but when you were tested. It wasn't the smooth paths that made you stronger, it was the rough roads. It wasn't the victories that taught you the most, it was the struggles. And every time you pushed through, every time you overcame, every time you found strength you didn't know you had, it was not because of luck. It was because you believed in yourself enough to keep going. Obstacles are mirrors, and they reflect back to you the truth of your belief. If you see fear, hesitation, and doubt, then your belief is weak. If you see resilience, courage, and determination, then your belief is strong. Self-belief is not about ignoring obstacles. It's about confronting them with certainty that you can rise. It doesn't mean pretending the challenge is easy. It means trusting that you have the capacity to grow into the person who can handle it. It means knowing that even if you fail, you will stand back up. You will learn, you will adapt, you will keep moving. And that is something luck can never give you. Luck might give you a momentary opportunity, but without belief you will not be ready for it. Luck might open a door, but without belief you will not have the courage to walk through. Luck might place you in the right place, but without belief you will not have the strength to stay there. Obstacles reveal this truth every single time. They expose whether you are leaning on chance or standing on the solid ground of self-belief. Think about the stories of people who started with nothing and achieved greatness. Every one of them faced obstacles that would have crushed someone who believed only in luck. They faced rejection after rejection, failure after failure, and they had every reason to quit. But their belief in themselves carried them through. They didn't see obstacles as signs to stop. They saw them as signs to rise higher. That's why their stories inspire you, because deep down you know it wasn't luck. It was the relentless force of belief, proving itself stronger than every challenge life threw at them. Every obstacle you face is an invitation to prove your belief in yourself. It is life asking you, how badly do you want this? How much do you trust yourself? How strong is your commitment? Obstacles separate the ones who wish from the ones who act, the ones who wait from the ones who work, the ones who depend on luck from the ones who depend on themselves. And the moment you choose belief over luck, every obstacle you encounter becomes another step on your path, another proof of your strength, another reason you will succeed not because of chance, but because you chose to believe in you. Champions create opportunities. They don't wait for them, because those who rise to the top understand that the world does not hand out greatness like a prize. It demands that you step forward and claim it. Waiting is the language of the average, the posture of those who put their future in the hands of luck, circumstance, or someone else's decision. But champions don't wait, they create. They create momentum where there was stillness. They create doors where there were only walls. They create light in places of darkness. They refuse to sit on the sidelines hoping for fortune to smile on them, because they know fortune favors the bold, the relentless, the ones who take action with certainty even when no guarantees exist. To create opportunities, you must first break free from the illusion that opportunity is something external, something you stumble upon, something you have to be lucky to find. Opportunities are born from your mindset, your actions, your willingness to see possibility where others see limits. Two people can look at the exact same situation. One sees a dead end, the other sees an opening. The difference is not luck. It is perspective fueled by belief and action. Champions cultivate this perspective. They train their minds to find openings in obstacles, to find lessons in failures, to find leverage in setbacks. While others complain about what they don't have, champions focus on what they can build with what they do have. Creation is active, and it demands courage. Champions understand that to create opportunity means to risk, to fail, to be uncomfortable, to stand out. They know that waiting is safe but stagnant, while creating is dangerous but powerful. They are willing to make bold moves, to take the first step when no path is clear, to bet on themselves when no one else is ready to believe. That courage to create is what opens doors, not luck. A person who waits for opportunity will always remain dependent on outside forces, while a person who creates opportunity becomes a force themselves, shaping the world instead of being shaped by it. Creating opportunity also requires vision. Champions see beyond what is. They see what could be. They don't look at circumstances and take them as final truth. They look at circumstances as raw material, something to be molded. Vision is the blueprint, action is the construction, and persistence is the cement that holds it all together. Opportunity is the result of this process, not a random event. When you understand this, you stop envying those who seem to be in the right place at the right time, because you realize they didn't just get there by chance. They put themselves there. They positioned themselves, they prepared themselves, they acted with consistency until the moment aligned, and even then, they were ready to seize it because they had been creating it all along. There is a reason champions are relentless about preparation. They know that when opportunity comes, it will look like hard work, and only those who have trained themselves will recognize it and have the strength to seize it. Those who believe in luck are often unprepared when something finally comes their way, and because they haven't built the skill, the discipline, or the courage, they let it slip through their hands. Champions don't make that mistake because they don't sit around waiting. They build. They create so many opportunities that when one doesn't work, another one is ready. They don't rely on the lottery of life. They multiply their chances by consistently acting, moving, trying, failing, learning, and pushing forward. Creating opportunities also means refusing to be a victim of circumstance. Champions don't blame the economy, the environment, or other people for their lack of progress. They acknowledge those factors, but they don't let them define the outcome. Instead, they ask themselves, what can I do with what I have right now? That simple question shifts the focus from waiting for luck to stepping into power. Every great invention, every breakthrough business, every revolution started with someone who refused to wait for perfect conditions and instead created opportunities in imperfect ones. If they had waited for luck, the world would still be waiting. Action is the common denominator of every champion. They don't talk about what they're going to do. They don't daydream about how they'll succeed. They take massive action. They understand that action creates clarity, action creates momentum, action creates results. And in the process of taking action, opportunities reveal themselves. Those who wait for luck wait for certainty, but champions know certainty comes only after movement. By acting, they expose themselves to possibility, to connections, to chances that others will never see because they're still standing still. The mindset of a champion is proactive. Instead of saying, I hope this happens, they say, I'll make this happen. Instead of saying, I need someone to open the door, they say, I'll build the door. Instead of saying, I'll wait for the right time, they say, now is the time and I'll make it right. That is the spirit of creation, and it separates them from the millions who spend their lives waiting for something external to rescue them. Champions are not lucky, they are intentional. They position themselves, they prepare themselves, they push themselves into the spaces where opportunity can grow. Their daily habits, their relentless effort, their vision-driven actions, all of these create the conditions where opportunities multiply. And because they never stop moving, never stop building, never stop believing, what looks like luck to outsiders is actually the inevitable result of consistent creation. The truth is, life will never hand you opportunities on a silver platter. It will hand you challenges, setbacks, rejections, and struggles. Those are the raw materials. Whether you wait for luck or create opportunity with those materials is your choice. Champions don't see the raw materials and complain. They use them. They don't see failure and retreat. They analyze it and try again. They don't see closed doors and stop. They knock louder or build a new entrance. And in that relentless cycle of creating, they uncover more opportunities than they could have ever imagined if they had simply waited for luck to arrive. The world bends to those who act with intention and self-confidence, because people who move with clarity and certainty shape reality instead of reacting to it. Intention is the compass that gives direction to your actions, and self-confidence is the fuel that gives those actions power. Without intention, you drift aimlessly, waiting for life to decide for you. Without confidence, you hesitate, second, guess, and sabotage your own progress. But when you combine the two, you step into a state of alignment where everything you do carries weight, purpose, and impact. This is the difference between those who wander and those who lead, those who hope and those who create, those who rely on luck and those who rely on themselves. Intention is not a vague wish, it is a clear decision. It is knowing exactly what you want, why you want it, and how you will move toward it. When you live with intention, your choices are deliberate, your actions are consistent, and your energy is focused. Most people scatter their efforts, chasing one thing today and another thing tomorrow, hoping that eventually something will work out. But intention cuts through the noise. It sharpens your focus so that every decision either aligns with your vision or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, you don't waste time on it. This clarity is magnetic, because people are drawn to those who know where they are going. The world bends not because it changes on its own, but because your intention creates a gravitational pull that draws opportunities, people, and resources into your orbit. Self-confidence is the second force, and it is built not by luck, but by action and proof. Confidence is not arrogance, it is not blind optimism. It is the quiet certainty that you can handle whatever comes your way. It is trusting yourself to figure things out even if you don't have all the answers yet. Confidence is earned by doing hard things, by keeping promises to yourself, by surviving setbacks and realizing you are stronger than you thought. Every time you act in the face of fear, you add another layer of confidence. Every time you persist through failure, you prove to yourself that you can endure. Confidence is not given, it is built brick by brick, experience by experience, belief by belief. And once you have it, it transforms how the world responds to you, because people trust those who trust themselves. When intention and confidence work together, your actions become unstoppable. Intention gives you the target, confidence gives you the courage to aim and shoot. Intention tells you where to go, confidence tells you that you can get there. Intention makes your path clear. Confidence makes your steps firm. Together, they create momentum that cannot be mistaken for luck. To the outside world, it may look like doors magically open for you. But what is really happening is that your clear intention and strong confidence are signaling to others that you are serious, prepared, and capable. People don't open doors for those who hesitate. They open doors for those who walk with certainty. The world is full of noise, full of people doubting themselves, waiting for luck, living without clarity, shrinking back because they don't believe they are enough. That is why those who act with intention and confidence stand out. They are rare, and because they are rare, they are powerful. They don't ask permission to chase their dreams, they don't apologize for their vision, they don't waste time wondering if they are worthy. They know their worth because they decided it, and they reinforce it with action. That energy bends circumstances, influences people, and reshapes environments. Because in a world of hesitation, confidence is power, and in a world of distraction, intention is gold. The truth is, life responds to the energy you project. If you move without intention, life gives you randomness. If you act without confidence, life mirrors back your doubt. But if you carry yourself with clarity and conviction, life reflects that strength back to you. People want to follow those who know where they are going. People want to invest in those who believe in themselves. People want to partner with those who project certainty. This is why those who live with intention and confidence create results that others call luck. Because from the outside it looks like chance, but from the inside it is the inevitable result of aligned energy and consistent action. Living with intention means saying no as often as you say yes. It means cutting out distractions, setting boundaries, and aligning your time with your highest values. It means waking up with clarity and moving with purpose, not simply reacting to whatever comes your way. Living with confidence means trusting your voice even when others doubt you, taking bold steps even when fear whispers in your ear, and standing tall even when life tries to push you down. Confidence is not about never feeling fear. It is about acting in spite of fear, because you know who you are and what you are capable of. When you move through the world with both intention and confidence, obstacles lose their power over you. An obstacle to someone else is just a detour for you, because your intention keeps you focused on the destination, and your confidence assures you that you can find another way forward. Rejection doesn't stop you, because you don't tie your worth to someone else's opinion. Failure doesn't define you, because you see it as a stepping stone, not a final verdict. Setbacks don't paralyze you, because your belief in yourself is stronger than any temporary difficulty. Champions are not born with luck in their pockets. They are made by living intentionally and confidently, day after day. They are made by setting a vision, believing in that vision, and taking consistent action to bring it to life. They are made by trusting themselves when no one else does, by moving with purpose when others drift, by holding firm when others fold. And because they live this way, the world bends in their direction. People call it coincidence, fate, or chance, but deep down it is the natural consequence of inner alignment. Your life begins to transform the moment you stop waiting for luck and start walking with intention. It transforms the moment you stop doubting yourself and start carrying yourself with confidence. Because once you combine those two forces, you no longer chase opportunities. They chase you. You no longer beg for doors to open. You build doors, and the world rushes to step through them with you. You no longer live passively. You live powerfully, and the world cannot help but bend to the strength of your presence.